I'm Keith Becker from Dede's Rentals. Today we're talking with Rosa, and we're talking about security deposits. When tenants move out, security deposits are, from the small claims court circumstance, one of the most difficult processes in terms of the landlord-tenant arena. There's two steps or two different aspects associated with security deposits. There's the period between when the tenant gives notice and they move out, and then there's the period afterward. Let's start with the period once they give notice. What happens? What is the process?
Well, we definitely recommend to always get notice from tenants in writing, and it has to be at least 30 days. So once we receive the notice of 30 days from our tenants, we automatically start the process. And we recommend to our owners to always do a preliminary evaluation. So when your tenant decides to leave, by state law, they are allowed to have the opportunity to have a preliminary evaluation, which means pretty much take a look at the property, see how everything is looking in terms of for your turnover, as well as for the tenants to be able to let them know any additional items they need to do before they move out. So for our standpoint as Dede's Rentals, we ask our tenants, we're going to be out here at this certain day and time, and we'll be able to meet with you to answer any of your questions, as well as answer any of ours for what we need to do. And once that process is finished and completed, we recommend to our owners to prepare themselves for when the tenant moves out, to make sure they get the keys delivered to them, as well as making sure that the property is completely empty. You know, just because a tenant says they're going to be out January 1st does not necessarily mean they're going to be out. So make sure they receive keys, that the tenant has relinquished possession.
Okay, when you say they receive keys, you're talking about the owner, the owner's representative.
Correct. Yes.
Okay, so let's presume then the tenant has given notice, it was in writing, you did the pre-inspection, you've received the keys. Now what?
Now, after you do a move-out inspection, and please take photos, that is so very important, because please believe how many times there have been instances where a tenant reports that they did not put a hole in the bedroom door. Well, I actually have a photo that's date stamped and time stamped to show that there was a hole in the door. Please take photos. That's extremely important, just not only for yourself, but in case the tenant does dispute it in the future, you are prepared. After you do the move-out evaluation, then you can start the process for the security deposits. By law, we get our security deposits out to our tenants within 21 days. Within those 21 days, once you've had whatever items have to be done, that was, unfortunate, the tenant's responsibility, for example, damage to the property, cleaning that needs to be done, any property that was left behind by the tenant that needs to be disposed. Once that is done, you can go ahead and release the security deposit back to the tenant.
If you deduct anything from the security deposit, what sort of documentation do you have to provide?
Invoices from your vendors, definitely. Any invoices, as well as any documentation in terms of anything in writing you submitted to them. For example, the preliminary evaluation. If you told them this is the things that you need to have done, if you need to give them an additional copy of that, which we as Dede's, we already give them a copy of what things they need to have done, so that they already know of what items are expected from them.
So let's presume we've done all that within the 21 days, and correct me if I'm wrong, if tenants leave the property cleaner, the security deposit can be released faster.
Yes.
Let's presume that the security deposit has been released and the tenant doesn't like the accounting.
Yes.
Now what?
If they want to dispute the security deposit, that is definitely their right. We do ask for it to be in writing, because just so you have a paper trail as the owner and as a tenant, so you're able to submit them something in writing saying, I don't agree with these deductions. I'd like to be able to either, one, get the money back, or two, come to some type of negotiation that we as owners or property managers and they as the tenants can, be happy and meet a mutual ground.
So although it is sometimes difficult, is it really as difficult as it sometimes seems?
No, definitely it doesn't have to be. Again, if you are having open communication with your tenants and letting them know, for example, we as Dede's, and I work in the maintenance department, I definitely try to be in open communications with our tenants and let them know, hey, you left a couple things behind, we're going to have to charge you for this, or, you did a fantastic job and the property is completely clean. We will resend a deposit out to you in the next couple of days. So, again, really important, open communication and documentation is important.
Thank you, Cece. On behalf of Cece, I'm Keith Becker.